I'm telling you, listen carefully. When this man signed here, there were people sitting outside India who were panicking. Yes, it is official. Mr. Modi has become the Prime Minister of India for the third time in a row. Let me make this clear. It is a very powerful position, as India is now being recognized as a global heavyweight that is going to get stronger and stronger. Seeing Mr. Modi as the Prime Minister of India is probably not good news for the power-hungry, puppet government-seeking external forces who did everything that they possibly could to influence India's election. And yes, finally, it seems that they have found a man who many feel is the biggest villain in India's 2024 election. No, I'm not talking about the Germany-based man who, in his early days, started his journey as an Islamic social media troll and ended up becoming an overgrown full-time propagandist thanks to some dedicated cheerleading by some anti-India and pro-Pakistan global media outlets. And no, in this video, I am not talking about George Soros, who, according to many, has ambitions to bring his twisted version of democracy to other countries. I am talking about this man. Article after article, in India and abroad, many are talking about him and his influence on India's election. Want to know who he is? His name is Christophe Jaffrelot. As described in this article, in France, anti-Modi propaganda and even interviews were published, creating narratives and micro-narratives on the Indian Lok Sabha elections. These were led by a French political scientist named Christophe Jaffrelot, who is also known as CJ. As claimed here, Christophe Jaffrelot's narratives and micro-narratives were backed by huge amounts of cash from the United States, UK and EU nations. Many in the international media outlets portrayed Christophe Jaffrelot as a political commentator and expert on Indian elections. Mr. Jaffrelot has a keen interest in India's castes, and it seems that his work has encouraged many to misuse caste as a weapon to divide Hindus and then use that division to exploit Indians politically. It is indeed an irony that on the one hand, in France, they seem to be diluting their own French caste system in their country's psyche by not debating it, by not teaching about it properly, and by not bringing the subject of the French caste system to the forefront of their political discussion. Because of that, many in France do not even know what their caste is. But on the other hand, many powerful forces in India and abroad want Indians to continue to identify themselves on the basis of their caste and want to keep the caste system alive in India's psyche. Simply speaking, it clearly seems that this caste agenda can allow or help the Western colonial criminal states complete the so-called task of the total evangelization of India and to keep India, and in particular Hindus, unstable and vulnerable enough so that the emerging superpower and the future competitor can be brought to its knees if and when required. My research has shown the existence of caste systems in different parts of the world, whether it is South Korea, Germany, or even France. Christophe Jaffrelot, I want to ask you, can you run away from the fact that within France, many low-caste Christian untouchables faced brutal oppression in churches and elsewhere? Mr. Jaffrelot, can you run away from the truth that even today, in French society, the prejudice against the members of that low caste has not ended? Mr. Jaffrelot, if you are a caste expert, then you must be aware of who those French Christian untouchables were. Viewers, listen carefully. They are called cagots. Yes, in the brutal French caste system, cagots were placed somewhere at the very bottom of French society. This untouchable caste in France was hated and brutally oppressed. They were forced to live in separate districts. They were not expected to marry outside their caste. And mind you, even today, in French society, the prejudice against the cagots has not ended. Many in France are too ashamed to confess that they are of Cagot descent. They hide their identity because they know how French society might treat them if their identity was revealed. I want to ask Indians, will India also give birth to a political scientist who will do to France what Christophe Jaffrelot has done to India and remind the people of France about their caste that many of them are too ashamed to talk about? To learn more about the French caste system, I highly recommend that you watch this episode. I want to remind viewers that there are people in the West and outside India who have said positive things about Modi or India too. For example, Bill Gates posted this: "Congratulations to Narendra Modi on winning a third term as Prime Minister. You have strengthened India's position as a source of innovation for global progress in sectors like health, agriculture, women-led development and digital transformation." And then we have Elon Musk, who in the past said this about Modi:
Well, I'm actually incredibly excited about the future of India. I think India has more promise than any large country in the world. In a nutshell, it was a fantastic meeting with the Prime Minister, and I like him quite a lot. He visited our Fremont factory several years ago. I am a fan of Modi, so...
Well, it seems that Elon Musk has not changed his stance. He congratulated Mr. Modi and has shown his interest in his companies doing exciting work in India. Not so long ago, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase also said something positive about India and Modi. These are just a few examples. We must understand that many around the world, due to their financial and geopolitical interests, are trying to woo India and its Prime Minister, and a lot of them would be doing the same regardless of who leads India. And of course, it does not end here. Many leaders and popular personalities around the world have appreciated the positive changes that India has experienced in recent years. In particular, Israel and Russia, in these desperate times, need an India that does not work against their interests.
Prime Minister Modi is a very wise man, and India has been making great strides in its development under his leadership. So this fully meets the interests of both India and Russia to work on this agenda. So make no mistake, we will move toward these results and we will achieve them.
It is a huge pleasure to welcome Prime Minister Modi to Australia. Prime Minister Modi is the boss.
Minister Sri Narendra Modi, we owe you a debt of gratitude.
He is the most popular world leader for a reason. He is unbelievable visionary, and his level of commitment to the people of India is just indescribable and deep and passionate and real and authentic. And his desire to lift people out of poverty and move India forward as a global power is real, and it is happening.
To familiarize yourself with how the foreign media and different countries are reacting to Modi's re-election, please watch the last 3 videos on our channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.